Sabbath School teachers. This video will show you how you can create your own Sabbath School class videos and edit them and have them ready for upload. So I'm just going to give you some step-by-step instructions, and you will need to do this on a computer. So let me get started. I'm going to share my screen and let you see what I'm doing. The software that I am using is called Kdenlive. And I chose this largely because it's a software that I use and it's free. Whether it's the best software, I have no idea. I'm not an expert in editing videos, but I know that it's free and I like free. So you can download it here, scroll down to the Windows section, and you want to click this Windows install version. Okay, of course you will need a Windows computer for this. The Mac version, you will have to compile it yourself if you use it. That is not an easy process. If you don't already know how to do it, I don't recommend it. I understand that iMovie can also do what we need to do. So if you have a Mac, I suggest you do iMovie and search on the internet for tutorials. But Windows computers, you can download and install it, run the installer. When Kdenlive comes up, you'll see this screen right here. And let me just briefly cover the different parts of the screen. First, over here on this side, this is the project bin. Okay, all of the video clips that you're working with will go in here. You have to see them here before you can work with them. Over here on this side, this is your preview of what the video will look like. Now, this is not the final thing. It could look a bit jerky compared to the final output. It's not exact, but it should be good enough to give you the idea. Down here is the timeline. Okay, you arrange your clips in a line on the timeline. You'll see it in a minute, and that's how you do your main editing. Okay, over here it shows you the time that you're currently playing at. So you have hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. You've got 30 frames per second approximately. Actually, you can see up here it's actually 29.97 frames per second, but close enough. So to start with, we're going to add our clips in. And let me get the right thing here. Okay, so I'm going to drag and drop. Now, you won't be able to see my folder window here because of some limitations I had with recording this, but I've got the video clips open in a folder, and I'm just going to drag them onto the project bin. Okay, you see them appear here now. Okay, I just drag them on there, and it asked me a question. Switch to clip profile here. So the deal is different videos are recorded in different resolutions and whatnot. You'll see up top we have 1080p, whereas this video is 720. So it's asking if we want to switch that. You want to use whatever your highest resolution is. If you don't know, I would say put your best quality video in first, let it switch, and then you see up here now switched. It actually lowered the quality. We could have done a higher quality, but you can't add quality in. Where you want your best quality is when you make the recording. Okay, so now let me move this over a bit so I can see the full names. I'm just going to drop my videos onto the timeline. I'm going to start with part 1. Okay, I'm going to drop into V1. You can see here this track is video, this track is audio. Just to make it easier to see, I'm going to right click on the track, and now that I started on that, I now don't remember how to do this. I'm not real good at this. Track thumbnails right here. I right click on this header over there, track thumbnails, and put all frame. That way we see all along kind of where we're at in the video. Okay, so if I hit my play button, we should be able to see a playback.
Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so happy that it's Sabbath, and I wish you could be here with.
Now, we're going to make a few edits. First of all, let me show you. I'm going to go back to the beginning. So I want to go back to 0 seconds. I'm just going to type 0, 0, and then for a frame, 0, 0 again. Hit enter. That'll drop me back. I could also click in this area. And to start off with, I want to have a nice fade in at the beginning. So if I put my mouse over this video thing, you'll see this green circle that appears. I'm going to click and drag it to the right a little bit. Now, I don't care how much I'm going to drag exactly, because now that I dragged it, I'm going to click in the video, and you see in the properties, it'll appear, and it looks like it's 14 frames long. Well, I want it to be 1 second. So I'm just going to type 1 and 0, 0, hit enter, and it'll be a 1 second fade in. Now I'm going to do the same for audio, because I want to keep the audio and video together. And I'm going to click this again. Now that's 0, 14 again. So 1, 0, 0, enter. And now when we start to play this, there'll be a little bit of a fade in.
Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so happy.
And you saw how it was a little bit rough in the preview. That's two things. First of all, this preview takes a lot of computing power, and the computer I'm recording on is old and super slow. It just doesn't have the horsepower to do it. In fact, when I actually edit videos for real, I don't use this computer. I use my desktop, but my desktop doesn't have a webcam or a microphone, so I can't talk about it. I'd have to just only show you with no talking, and that wouldn't be very easy. Okay, so we did that first bit. Now, I happen to know that this video got separated into two parts because the camera stopped recording, the phone stopped recording partway through. So I need to connect them together. I'm also going to need to do some trimming to make it nice. So part 2 is right here. I'm going to drag part 2 right on to the end of part 1. Okay. And let it finish drawing and put it together. But watch what happens when we play from one to the other. This is why we need to do a little bit of work.
Okay.
You see what happened is the previous recording cut off in the middle of the song. And I already knew that happened, so I knew I was going to have to fix this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find where the song began, and I know that my second clip has a retake of that song. So it looks like from the audio, it's right about there. So let me listen and find out exactly where that transition is.
Theirs.
Okay, so now I'm going to look at my timeline and see if I can work out the exact point of it. Let me try 1426. 1426 sounds pretty good. So let me type that in again. You know, they say measure twice, cut once. I'm going to try that again. Just see if it sounds good. I'm looking for silence between the things so that there's no audio break. Okay, sounds good. So 1426. I'm going to move my cursor back there, and now I'm going to take my scissors tool, and this red line, I'm going to line it up directly on top of the white line because I put the white line where it needs to be, and I'm going to click. And you can see it just sliced the film right there. And so I go back to my moving tool, and now this part I don't need anymore, so I'm going to delete it. I'm going to hit the delete button on my keyboard. It's gone. Okay, I'm going to bring this up, but now there's a bit of redundancy here. Let's just listen and see what I'm talking about. You jump back to about there.
Baby, and wrap them in a blanket while we sing our next song. My family, we want to take good care of our baby, just like Abraham and Sarah took care of theirs. Okay. Abraham and Sarah took very good care of their baby. Can you get your baby doll out now?
You see there's a bit of a repeat, and we don't need this twice, so I'm going to look for the beginning of the song again. And there it is. See the change in the audio levels helped me find where it was. 11:25:18 18. Let me see if that's going to be a good place. Yeah, 25:18 looks good. We measure it again, just be sure. Okay. And you want to get your cuts in the right place. If you get them off a bit, it can sound weird. So let me get my scissors tool out again and try to line that up. And there we go. And cut. Go back to my main selection. I don't need this bit now, so I'm going to close it up. Now let's play through it and see how the transition is.
My family, we want to take good care of our baby just like Abraham and Sarah took care of theirs.
Okay, I heard something weird there.
Just like Abraham and Sarah took care of theirs.
Which side is that? You heard that little click. I'm going to get rid of that click. So I'm separated out so I can tell which side it is.
Just like Abraham and Sarah took care of theirs.
I don't hear it there at all. That's weird. Well, maybe it's some artifact. Anyway, so now let's focus on the video. And we dealt with the audio. Let's focus on the video and how the transition is, because you know Nancy's not going to be standing in exactly the same place. We might find a little bit of a rough transition.
Care of theirs.
See how everything kind of moved there? Did you notice that?
Just like Abraham and Sarah took care of theirs.
So we could decide that's okay, and that's a reasonable decision. If you decided that if you're okay with those kind of cuts, that's perfectly fine. But if we want to smooth it out a bit, we can try something else. So you drag one clip up above the other, and with a little bit of overlap. And how much overlap is something you might have to determine by experimenting. And then if you click, you see now that there's this purple circle on the top clip in the bottom corner. If you hit that, you'll add this purple box here that currently says wipe, and you can choose what effects are used between these two of them. So by default, here's what we get.
Care of our baby, just like Abraham and Sarah took care of theirs.
Okay, so there's a kind of fade between the two of them. It's a little bit rough. If we click on it, we have some other options. Wipe method. This is dissolve. You see there's a whole bunch of them. You might experiment with them to figure out which one you want. Let me just try the linear X and see how that goes.
We want to take good care of our baby just like Abraham and Sarah took care of theirs.
Okay, that makes a line across the side. I might like that better. I'm not sure. So both of those are options. Neither one of those is a bad option. It's just what you choose. Now let's go to the end of this video, because I know there's another issue we're going to have to solve over here at the end. Here's the end. Listen to it and you'll see what I'm talking about. So you see the video suddenly cut off. This is a problem we've had with our videos in general. It seems that when you push the start or stop button on your phone camera, it doesn't actually start or stop at the exact time you expect it to. So we had issues with sometimes people starting to speak before the camera was actually recording, or in this case, the camera recording stopped before the person stopped speaking. So for filming purposes, make sure you leave yourself several extra seconds. You can always trim them off in editing. It's no problem, but just leave yourself extra seconds on both sides to avoid this. But in this recording, we don't have that option. So let me show you what we can do to fix it. It's not exactly fix it. It's more like cover it up, make it seem like it's not quite as big a deal. I'm going to do the fade out thing. So we did fade in at the beginning of the video. Now fade out, I'm going to drag this circle here, and I'm going to do it a good way. So I dragged it over to the side. Now I'm going to click on the track and go to the duration. I'm going to do, let me try about a 4-second fade. That may or may not be a good number. Let's just experiment and find out. So 4 seconds, 0 frames. Hit enter, and I'm going to do the same thing with the audio track. Okay, so 4, I'm going to do 4. So I need to click on it now. It says 304. I need to make that 4, 0, 0. Now, if I don't like this duration, I can always change it. So let's listen to it and see if this is any better.
Our Sabbath school is over, and we are going down.
Okay, so with a fade out, it makes it seem a bit more like it's not just an abrupt ending. You know, obviously it would be better to have the whole recording, but we don't have that. So at this point, we could call the video done, but I'm going to show you one additional bit of this that could be nice to have. Let me scroll up here. It might be nice to have some sort of title. So now in video terms, a title that is any kind of text that goes on the screen. So I'm going to go to the project menu and add a title clip. Now in this box, I just see whatever goes on the screen. That this is going to be overlaid over it. I can show the background, but I think because I got the fade in there, in fact, what I'm going to do actually is I'll leave it as it is. So let me put some text in here. Just do something basic, and I'm going to say this is the beginner Sabbath School for March 2020. Let me see. Font is Advent. I think that's a good enough font, and I'm going to set a shadow on it so we can see it better on a variety of backgrounds. And I'm going to drag this over. I think I want it right about there. Okay. Now, because I can't see what's on the screen, I may have to do this and then go back and edit it later and kind of play with it a bit. And titles are totally optional, but it's availability. So here we see it now in our project bin. I can take this and I can drag it over onto the timeline. Okay, and let me drag it to the beginning. And we should now have some text visible. So let me set this back to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And you can now see it appearing over here. And let me play it.
Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so happy that it's Sabbath, and I wish you could be here with me. But
okay, so we got a title on the screen, but there are a couple of things I want to change. First of all, because I think that my title might be covered up by the video on Zoom record, I'm going to move it, and then we're gonna do some fades and stuff to make it look better. So first, let me show you how you can edit it. Go back up here, find it in the bin, right-click on it, and hit Edit Clip. And now it comes back up. I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to drag this down to the bottom. Okay, and hit OK. And it is now moved. But see, you can see now here's our other issue. Because we're at the beginning of the video, and it's still showing. So I want it to fade in already. And also the title's too short. So let me first go over here, grab it, and just make it about 10 seconds long. Duration, I don't even looking at. The duration is about 10 seconds, something like that. And I'm going to set my fade in. Remember, I did a 1 second fade in for everything else. I'm going to add a fade in here as well. Click on here, 1 second, 8 frames. I want to make it 0 frames. It's the same. And I'm going to put a little nice soft fade out on this. We'll make it last for about 2 seconds, maybe. This is a fade out. 2 seconds. 250. No, that's wrong. 2, 0, 0. Enter. And let's go back here. Set our back to 0. And watch this.
Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so happy that it's Sabbath, and I wish you could be here with me, but we're going to do the very best we can. Before we start, you may want to gather.
Okay, got the title there, but it's not easy to read, so I'm just going to make one more change. I'm going to right-click on this again, hit Edit Clip. I'm going to turn the text to yellow. And hit OK, OK, and let's go back in here and see if we can see that better. If we were to really do a good job with this, we'd move it around a bit, but this is just a demo anyway. So we've got our basic demo, and at this point, make sure you save your project file. But remember, this is actually just a project file. This is not the output video. So I'm going to save this, and all this save does is enables me to reopen that document and see what's on the screen in front of me right now. You will not be able to upload this to YouTube. What you need to do is render the video. So we're going to go over here to this render button and click render. Okay, now here's the output file name. You can choose the name here if you want. I'm just going to take what it set as a default. We choose here the format. Now WebM is the default. It's perfectly fine. MP4, the next one, is also perfectly fine. You can use either one of those or really let it choose the format for you. YouTube will take any of them. Okay, so I'm going to set my quality up. Probably leave the default. If you don't know what else to do, take the default. Full project, yes. Parallel processing, yes. I want parallel processing. That will use all the processors on that is available. You see, rendering video takes a lot of computer horsepower, and so whatever you have to throw at it, the faster it'll go. Now, when I've made my settings, I'm going to choose render to file. Okay, this will actually do the work, and here it's going. Now, because I'm using an old and slow computer, this is going to take a long time. Let me just give you some examples. On the computer, the desktop computer I normally use, this video would take about 15 minutes to render, maybe 20 minutes. Okay, which is not bad, all things considered. This will give us a time frame here pretty soon. Now, this has come out and it says that there's about 2 hours and 8 minutes remaining. So you can see can be a big difference between computers. This one, 2 hours and 8 minutes. My desktop, 15 or 20 minutes. Huge difference in amount of time. Needless to say, I'm not going to do any real editing on this computer because this is just too much time to render. So this would be how you would go about using Kdenlive. For now, I'm just going to abort the job. If you need help on something, you can always search the internet. So you might just type Kdenlive and what you want to do. So adjust volume, and you should get some results showing up. And here are some ways you can do that. So that's how you can find out more help if you need that. When you're ready to transfer the file, you have a choice. You can either upload it directly to YouTube, or perhaps the easier way is go here, WeTransfer.com. Actually, let me do a different one because I had another suggestion that might be better. SurgeSend.com. So here's the deal. Video files are huge. You cannot send them via email without losing a lot of quality. And so there needs to be some way you can do it. Well, with Surge Send, what you do is you just hit this transfer button, and you'll click here and upload your video file, the one that you saved when you rendered. I'm just going to use one of these as an example. And I don't know, can I drag and drop? Yes, so I can drag and drop it onto there, and it'll load that. Then I have to put your email address, okay, and then you put my email address at scott@scottseverance.us, okay, and put an expiration date, okay. Give me several days to get it. In the message, tell me what this is. Okay, and when all that's finished, hit send, and the process will begin. Now again, this will take a while because it's a big file, so expect to take a good amount of time. When you send me the file, then I will be able to upload it. So a couple of other things to be aware of when you record your video is this. First of all, always shoot video in the highest quality setting you can. Do everything possible to maintain that quality. When you need to move video from your phone to your computer, again, use something like Google Drive or Surge Send, okay? Don't email it. You will not have good results. You want to have video as big as possible, and then YouTube will take care of choosing the correct size. All right. Well, I'm going to call that good for now, and I hope this helps you out in your process of making videos. Thank you for all your hard work. Goodbye.